Hello. I wanted to talk to you today a little bit about mental management. Mental management is the involving your mind as well as your body in sports or really in anything that you do. It turns out that your brain is such an important part of any sport that we are just missing out by not training it. So we're going to start now with our team doing some mental management training about once a week for a little while so that our synchronized swimmers learn how to best use their minds along with their bodies to be successful. And it works for sports as well as real life stuff too. Stress and nerves can be a huge factor when you are doing any kind of a sport. Your body is primed for a fight or flight from back in the day when we were, cave people and we needed that stuff. So when you're nervous, your body tenses up and gets ready to just run away or defend itself in whatever situation it is. Unfortunately, for synchronized swimming, that's not particularly helpful. You don't need to tighten your body up. And in fact, when you do, it affects the way you move. Some muscles need to tighten in order for you to move, and some muscles need to lengthen. Think about whenever you do your splits. You need to be able to relax certain muscles and allow them to lengthen themselves out so that you can move correctly and successfully. Because being nervous can tense up those muscles and make them not stretch the way that they normally do when you practice. It means that you can really mess up your game by being so nervous. You can wind up performing and moving in a way that you don't normally move. So we're going to try to get our brain ready for the sport so that we won't be so nervous and our swimmers won't feel so stressed out and their bodies won't be so tense and then unable to do what they train on a regular basis to do. The first step in improving mental game is to understand the importance of positive thought. Your brain is like a sponge. It believes the things that you tell it, whether those things are true or not. Things that you say out loud and things that you think about will form little pathways in your brain. And every time you think about them, those pathways will get a little deeper and a little deeper until you have a rut. And it's much harder to get out of a rut than it is to step off of a little pathway. So we're going to try to change those negative thoughts that have started to form pathways in the swimmers' heads or any kind of athlete's heads. We all do it to ourselves. We all say negative things to ourselves all the time. We say, I'm terrible at math. Even sometimes as a joke whenever we mess up something. Or we sometimes when we make a big mistake, we really get down on ourselves about it. We talk about our mistake and we stress out about our mistake and we make that mistake huge. And every time we rehearse that mistake by speaking out loud about it in such a negative way, we make that rut for us to stick ourselves in. So we need to learn to speak positively. Yes, we are not going to ignore the things that go wrong and pretend like that never happened, but you can acknowledge, hey, I messed up my barracuda. And then you can even think about for a second or two the things that you did that were totally messed up. And then you just need to take those thoughts and just ball them up and throw away. And then you need to learn how to speak positively about your barracuda. You need to be able to say, I'm working on my barracuda. I'm improving my barracuda. I'm getting better at the barracuda. All kinds of positive things that you say out loud about your performance of that particular move that may have stumped you. It's super important that you find a way to make everything into a positive statement. If you, sometimes you say, you want to think about it in a negative way to begin with. You want to say, well, I'm not so good at this, but I'm going to get better at this. Or I'm not very good at pointing my toes, but I'm going to work on that. No, that's not positive. That's not what we're going for. We need to say, I am pointing my toes. I am going to succeed. I am doing this. I am working on this. Not I'm going to try to, I'm going to think about, I'm going to work on. I mean, working on is good, but it's better to just be I am doing this. This is happening for me. As positive as you can be. It's super important. And one thing that we've learned is that positivity kind of rubs off. Positive statements kind of rub off. So the people that you hang around with, if they're saying positive things, you're more likely to feel positively and be and have that positive mindset. And it'll be easier for you to change your mode of thinking from, kind of making comments about things you don't do well to making positive statements on a regular basis. So when you're on your team with your other teammates and you hear them saying negative things, remind them to speak positively and to practice those positive statements out loud. Write them down, think them in your head. As many ways as you can rehearse the positive, happy statements about your performance, about your practice, that's what you need to be doing. Some people even write them down on little notes and stick them by their mirror so that when they brush their teeth every day, they see positive statements, where they stick them on the front of their computer, or they write it on their school folder. As many ways as you can expose yourself to positive thoughts and positive statements about your sport, the better off that you are. I'd like to suggest that you start that right away, and try to start it in not just Synchro, but in everything that you do. Why not talk about how good you are at math? Why not talk about how good you are at parallel parking? Whatever it is that you feel like maybe is not your strong suit, make it so. Make it your strong suit. Make it something that you can talk about positively. And so your brain will start to practice and believe these positive things about you. Thanks for watching.